Eric says, do not look for outside validation, to search within and trust my own power, and do not concern myself with the reality of existence, trust my own power as God and the creator of my own reality. There you go.
Beautiful message.
Yes, so basically he's saying something similar to what Bashar just said.
Yeah.
Basically saying that only the message is important, not the messenger.
Right.
Whether that explains anything.
You look good, Travis,
Thank you.
and your energy feels good. So it's all yours.
That's part of the energy, which oh, Lord. Hello. Welcome back. Even though we never go anywhere, we're always here. I will just share that we are opening up more to share more ideas of our technology and we are also glad the channel gave that message to you. For it is important to focus on the message. And the message is that we are preparing ourselves for the introduction. For today, that message will be given directly to your people by representatives of our civilization and others, depending on who will be the first to be introduced at that specific time and place will be withheld for the moment, but there's been being decisions made on the other end. So we would like to share that we are excited to be interacting with your species at this moment of your time. And we'll leave this open for questions and answers, for there wasn't a big topic today at the moment, although to follow your heart, which is basically saying follow your excitement, your passion. So we leave this open for questions and answers. Please enjoy the little message, for it was a small message that we prepared.
Can you tell us about how many countries that you are in contact with now and why those particular countries, please?
Right now, our focus is different areas, some Norwegian, but we have been in direct contact with people of the US in the past, although we are going to probably be more direct in the future when our we are introduced. But we have been interacting with Norwegian countries, America, and a few other countries.
Thank you. That's more information than I had before. Was there something else you were going to add, or?
We are deciding whether we are making sure we can share certain information with you.
So I have a question about the technologies that you are going to help us with. Are some of these technologies to help us awaken more fully? And can you elaborate a little bit on some areas of these technologies? Maybe we're talking about things we do with water, things we do with light bodies. Give us some taste for some of the technologies that.
There will be medical technology like medbeds, which actually induced vibration to help your body accelerate healing.
Okay.
which is which means it tunes your body to its cellular regeneration so your body can heal at a much quicker rate. It'll also help your body adapt to that so your body will heal quicker.
Yes.
So that's we're introducing that technology as well as perhaps there will be introductions to different energy supplies and energy resources that we will help remove that idea of the limitation of your energy that you have currently.
You're speaking of the energy that we use to power our houses and so forth.
Yes,
Okay,
that's very limited.
I see. So things that are renewable and perhaps in some way a lot less costly.
Limitless.
Yeah,
It's
limitless.
limitless.
Yeah,
It's
more.
basically limitless and costs and free energy, basically.
Okay, so that would be a very beautiful way of helping the collective. Uh, I would say, right? Any other areas that you feel that will be at the front end of the assistance that you will provide for humanity?
Well, we'll only share so much for that. Otherwise, there'll be nothing for you. There'll be nothing, no surprises. But there will be more. There will be more detoxification of your water systems and removal of certain stuff that might cause harm.
Very important. Much appreciate that. Uh, thank you. Ray?
And thank you. I know that as part of the ascension and our open contact, that certain races which have left Earth in our linear timeline as we know it will be returning to Earth like the Mayans. Can you comment on that and any other civilizations which may return, maybe Atlanteans or another civilization which might have left? Thank you.
There will be returning of specific more groups that have left your planet, but they trying to gauge how much information I can share with you. Certain Lemurian civilizations will also be returning specifically to certain sections of your planet when the time's right.
That's amazing. Is there more to come on that, or?
There will be more to come, but the information is very limited in this channel's vocabulary. The channel has, although you might be on track with the Atlanteans, but the return of Atlantis is also within you.
Can you explain a little bit more about that, please? That is very interesting.
The return to a civilization that's more open. They were once open to different civilizations interacting with them. It will be a return to a type of openness for not just for new styles of uses of technology and connection to different forms of spirit, nature spirits, and other like that.
Excellent. And I'm sure that the energy of those entities have already been reaching out and connecting with humans. Not that they've ever stopped, I would imagine, but even ramped up even more now that they are having a more tangible role in our near future, I will say.
Yes, it's gonna be a rebirth for within your civilization. It will be the rebirth of Atlantis.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. And at least we'll get back to respecting all life and having the cetaceans treated as the gods they are. Thank you.
So, in that sense, Lemuria, Mu, will also come back.
Yes, those will come when the time is right, and when at a specific time during a more openness instead of having that fear.
How do you gauge at this moment the progress that humanity is making to dissolve process and start dissolving some of the fear?
We observe responses to certain actions. Basically, how you respond to it is what we observe mostly. And and that response will also come with an energy signature that'll tell us what we need.
So do we have some progress in that domain?
There's some. There's still fear, but there has been some progress with that.
Ray?
And thank you for that and all of the details. This has been an exciting start to a session so far. I was curious, do the way that you perceive our reality, is that fairly common amongst our galactic neighbors, I will say? I know they all have different sensory apparatus and missions, but do all of the other ones just see our energy signatures and glean all of the relevant information they need automatically?
Well, depending on the form of interaction needed for specific groups within our civilization have been trained in that, and specific groups have been trained in more technological means. So, depending, there's different forms of means to interact with a civilization, and we have chose a multidisciplinary way.
Excellent. So you're basically maximizing the number of perception points and awareness that you can to get everything that you need.
Yes, in not in multitude of different ways that still some we cannot mention at this time.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Heidi?
Hello. You mentioned, I was happy to hear you mention the Lemurians returning, and I wanted to ask, are the Lemurians doing anything at this time to forward, like to help us to remove fear from our planetary energy, or are they doing anything like behind the scenes or in preparation before they come?
They use crystals and light to keep eye on your reality, and as well as to see how much is doing. And yes, they do have times where they send energy to assist that civilization. That's why most people get that energy, whatever form they receive it in.
And is there any way that we can bring that energy to ourselves? Is there a way that we can ask or align with it?
Be the best you can be and align with your true light.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Ray?
Yeah, I know a lot of native species, not just in our country, native human societies, I should say, believe that they have originated from the star people and they have various stars, and that they were all formed from various energies, and all of those energies together mixed to form a greater whole to support Mother Earth. And I'm imagining that those energies will be coming back to restore Earth as well. So, in addition to the Mayans and the Lemurians, are there going to be other Native American races returning? Like the Ojibwe believe that they go to the Pleiades when they leave here. If you can tell us. Thank you.
It's not the way you say it is only using a broad term. When they leave here, they're usually nowhere to go besides back to your original self, which is more of spirit.
Okay, that makes sense. I was just trying to reconcile some of those legends because I know they have authenticity and truth within them.
Yes, when they leave does not mean that's talking about leaving the physical body, not leaving the entire planet.
Ah, so I may have misinterpreted, and they are able to propel their consciousness to that realm and leave their physical bodies behind. That makes a lot more sense. And thank you so much for that clarification.
Will you be helping us in developing new ways of structuring communities?
We already are, and we will, and but we will be doing it more publicly after we're introduced. So, if that's what you mean, then yes.
Yes. You know, get fairly proactive in that arena, basically.
We've been doing stuff behind the scenes, so we already been proactive.
Very well. Ray.
Can you share more information about I was going to have you ask a question about the inner earth beings, but they just came through and they just said, just ask us. So, can you share information about some of the beings who may be on Earth that humans may not be aware of? I know there are creatures who crawl around under the ground, which we are not aware of, big ones. But are there any other ones which might surprise us?
Mm, mm. I mean, I'm sure you heard of Earth reptilians, but there's also more species that's Earth reptilians will probably be the most shocking. Even though they're well known, they're still shocking to many humans. There are others, but
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, because all of the we folk are actual representations of energies and individual consciousness and wonderful, wonderful beings in my experience and estimation. So
yes,
I'm looking forward to that as well as the inner earth beings and the tall whites and Pleiadians, Yaels, and hybrids, and the Sasquatch and the cetaceans. Did I leave anything out that's going to be in the first wave for physical?
no, not that we know of.
Okay,
At least nothing that needs to be mentioned right at this moment.
okay. Thank you.
Can you give us any helpers in the domain of establishing a resonance field in which we becomes much more consciously connected among humans?
Consciously connected among yourself.
Yes, right. In other words, how to become a little more coherent. Is there
By being
something?
the best example you can be in representing your civilization.
Okay, but if I use those words, people interpret that to be whatever they feel is the best sample given
Okay,
their
what
belief
we want to
systems.
clarify.
So I'm trying to see if there's any suggestions that can be used utilizing what I'm going to call water technology or other technology that will bring us into an easier field that allows us to be more coherent and jump into a reality in which we realize the necessity of connecting with others.
Crystals, specifically, depending on specific crystals, like there are specific crystals that can allow you to connect with energy field that can also allow you to connect with many others.
Selenium. Can you comment on the use of selenium?
It's a possible, even though the channel doesn't have any knowledge about it, that is a possible use in the field. As we say, different crystals have different actions, so depending on it, you will also have to test the crystals out and see what each crystal does before you can properly use them.
Since water is a common element to everything that we are,
Yeah.
it seems to me that infusing the waters with crystalline energy would be of major significance. How can we, in a more organized way, do that?
Place the crystal within the water and let it soak for a few minutes so it'll energize the crystal. Although place it in a more clean water that specifically contains the minerals of the earth.
So, like going to a natural stream and using.
Specifically, make sure the water is clear enough so it can so it's like so there's no elements that contain from the natural environment that's polluting the natural environment.
Okay. So here's an idea that comes to my mind. So I could take some crystals that I have a relationship with and
Yeah.
introduce them to some deep water holes where the water is coming from the ground as fresh as
Well,
can be, as connected to earth, and allow the crystals to merge with that energy, which may require them to be there for a little bit of time, and then bring them out and introduce those same crystals in other bodies of water, like the ones that may be more readily used by the water system to provide water for the use of people, not necessarily just consumption, but for washing themselves and using it for the normal purposes that we use water, like producing crops and so forth.
yeah.
Okay.
What would you
Okay. So that would be a very compatible idea then.
if the water is depending on the water and the environment, you have to, but it also doesn't have to be automatically. You can grab something safe to take the water out, but you can also make sure the water still carries trace elements of the of the of the of the earth.
Okay, so my idea is that the crystal that I'm carrying in the waters that have the trace elements of the earth, and that's as pure as I can actually physically get myself to bring that crystal to it, I am going to charge it with all of that, all the frequencies that are contained in that water. And I'm going to take the crystal out and carry it through to other bodies of water to essentially start a process of charging the waters in that other body of water. That could be, the back of my pool, or it could be, a tank that I have somewhere.
Make sure the water does not have chlorine in it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you. Ray, you have a question as well.
Yeah, yesterday I had the urge and the impulse to do an open invitation channeling and ended up having 9 beings come through, and a great time was had by all. There were some of those beings who were not only very interesting, but had odd perspectives, like the ones who had never seen a face before. Can you shed any light on any of those visitors which came in?
Never seen a face before. Let's see. Well, that would be specific to certain attributes of probably different races you're connecting with.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the beings that no longer or do not have a face would be dependent on their style and whether they actually went through a different evolution than others.
Well, they kind of mentioned that they were just viewing us in an electronic basis and they never physicalized their perception before. But when they were able to come through, they were shocked at the detail that we actually had faces, and it was not what they expected. So
You're connecting to the electrical stream, I would say.
Can you elaborate on that, pretty please?
All right. Well, there's a stream that runs through the current of reality that allows for all essences to incarnate into an electrical stream, but it will also provide them less awareness of what the physicalized things look like unless they were to interact more directly with physical beings.
And I got the feeling, not only when you said that, but when it was happening, that one touch gave them all of the access they needed to assess all of the information about our entire existence, because it's all conveyed in all. So, and they just take that one little touch of in our reality and they absorb so much more than what we know. Is that what the way that it is in ways?
In many different modalities. So mention taking the touch. Yes, like a central nervous system, the electrical touch will also send out signals so that the universe and reality and existence have these but much more conducive way.
Wow, that's really fitting in. I'm getting a good vision of that. It's like they put out hashtags for me to find on the internet. Anybody that searches for it can utilize that access point
Enjoy your searching.
as long as it's in the stream. Thank you so much. That's fantastic.
Do you have a message for Travis?
Message for Travis.
Yes.
Didn't we already give him the message that he gave to this crowd was actually meant for him.
Oh, it really was. Okay.
Yeah, if you if you heard what he mentioned the message, it was meant for him. It was meant for him. He just felt like sharing it with everyone.
Okay. Very well. Does anybody else have a
Yeah.
question or
Who
interaction?
do you consider to be in our, I guess in your opinion, do you have beings that you would consider to be most loving in a non-judgmental part of way? Meaning they're
Most loving.
capable of experiencing more love?
Well, we only can say in a non-judgmental way is that the complete true nature of the soul is the most is part of that loving most way you can get.
Thank you. I appreciate that perspective. Very nice. Are worlds that have been, well, I'm going to switch this. One of the beings that came in yesterday indicated to me that they were a consciousness formed by hundreds of other forms of consciousness to explore realities and realms which they could not otherwise access. And so they came in and they sampled and then they got everything they needed and they left. And I thought that was a very efficient way of learning about new realms, especially when they're infinite. But is that, I guess the most natural flow is the way of the universe, unless it's patterned otherwise?
All of existence flows naturally. Basically, the true essence of spirit is what flows through existence.
Well put. Okay, I just found that curious because in the physical world we don't think about things in that manner, I guess.
No, but there is more, but that's what you're going to begin to start thinking after the introduction,
Ah,
depending on those that choose, but there will be more of this information that will be shared directly from us, and the channels may or may not be used in other ways.
more to look forward to. Thank you very much.
Anybody else has a question or comment?
Very grateful. Thank you for the energy and the
Yeah,
opportunity.
definitely very grateful. Thank you. And
I have a question.
oh, there we are. Heidi.
I just wanted to know if I think I joined a little late, so I'm not sure who I'm speaking with.
Oh, oh, joined a little late. Um, I didn't even properly say, but my name, you would know me as Eric.
Okay. I was wondering if you have physically been on Earth and if you have visited anyone in this group at any time, maybe like under on without us realizing it.
Well, we are human looking enough to blend in, though I am pretty tall but I would be identified as a tall human in some sense.
I've seen some very tall humans that I've wondered about and just kind of got a feeling about them. Is it possible that I have been in close proximity to anyone you know?
Possibly. There's members of my race don't just have blonde hair, they also have a light brown to a darker, specific darker color. But I myself have a light blonde.
Okay, I was just curious. I didn't know if you would tell us if you had been, but is it safe
So
to say it's a possibility?
we could just leave it as a possibility for now.
All right, that's good.
Until
Good.
until until recent times, I cannot disclose everything when because that's all up to you to disclose everything for yourself.
Hmm. All right, thank you.
Lovely. Eric may have been around, but he's not prepared to confess to anything. Thank
Thanks
you.
for abiding by the protocols, Eric. We
Yeah,
appreciate
he's
it.
abiding by the protocols, that's for sure. The boss is looking upon him.
We thank you and we
Thank you.
send you
Thank you.
our unconditional love.
Unconditional love, always.
Oh, well, okay, that was easier.
Oh
And
man,
that
that
was
was fun.
and
It
I was
was,
assuming that was the end
Yeah,
because
you
otherwise.
channeled the lights off.
that's even more
Oh
interesting, huh?
my light is dying and has not got a light bulb changed. I usually need my dad for my help, but he won't do it with me in my
Yeah.
room.
The answers were very wise,
Yep.
by the way,
So
Travis.
we're gonna have to deal with the light off because my light bulb is already on the verge of dying.
But it's even more,
You're coming through. If you want, we can help you with the last rites.
it's all perfect, Travis.
You're only dim temporarily until you shine again in another reality, in another form.
Well, as long as you can hear the message, that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't, even the channeler doesn't matter. It's the message. It's the message.
I think the
Yes.
channeler said that during the transmission, you know.
Well, that was the message. That was the message meant for me, and it was referring to me because it was given to me because of what I was going through.
It's
Yeah.
given to everybody too, as well. You know,
Well, I only
yeah,
share the message to see if it works for anybody, but the message
sure.
was originally meant for me, and I just decided to share it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Did you yourself, in your awareness at this moment, learn something really different than what you have experienced with Eric so far?
Um, Besides the fact that my body is still in aching pain and stuff like that,
Is
I'll
that
be
normal?
honest
Is
right
that the
now.
normal Eric situation? That aching?
No, no, it's not. No, it's not normal. It's just trying to readjust myself
Sure.
because there's still limiting. I'm still limiting myself, and that's why I keep feeling this pain even during some channeling.
I,
Although there is still energy fluctuations, but that's why most of the information is conducive, but it can't. But at the moment, I can't. At the moment, the message only can be verified by those who actually have heard the message, and not the not the not and and but I can't really verify any of the information. All I can just say is that for him, um, yeah, there are possibilities. Some of the race that most of their race in general is the strongest connecting to us, as Eric is around 6'5". So he's relatively in the taller setting of humans compared to me.
I'll say.
Yeah, he's 6'5", but the ones that would be more balanced is Akasa and the other ones that I channel, which are around 5'9" and 5'8", which is within the relatively human height. Well, there are humans that can be 6'5", but that's besides the point. Is that it will be kind of different to notice whether you ever get to whether someone can actually meet one of them. You have to go. I mean, one time I thought I met one. I thought I saw one walk by me, but I think I might have mistaken that. So, but that's fine.
Oh,
But it was synchronistic that it looked exactly like one of the beings I channeled.
I say don't second guess yourself. I
Well,
feel like if you, because every tall person I see, I don't think that of, but there's been a few where I've like, just a
so
This one,
feeling
so
I get.
this one was relatively close to my height, and it was a female. So, but yeah, I looked up the school uniform. Apparently it was from the Saint Bernard's High School.
Hmm.
That's why I have to do my research and discern what is, because sometimes I might misidentify someone, even though because humans they can look so similar to humans that you can misidentify another human as one of them.
That's fair.
well, there's so
So
many.
in retrospect, the only way you'll know it's them is if they come out and say it, but they're not going to do that
Yeah,
because publicly this is not their time.
there's so many human possibilities out there. But I was kind of interesting, Heidi. In your recent experience, you asked the question. Did you see someone that was 6'5", 7 feet? What did you? What's your experience?
Every once in a while, when I'm at a particular, when I'm at a gathering, usually it's with a room full of, people who are on a spiritual journey, working with energies, and there'll be someone there, and I'm not even thinking, I'm not trying to look for someone, but it is just the energy that they give off to me seems a little bit, it just like makes me think, huh, that energy feels different. So it's really just how they feel. And so when you said how tall, that kind of, I was like, oh, I wonder if that's maybe why I have felt that way about that, because they've usually been tall when I felt that way. So that's just been my experience.
I see.
But I don't think much about it after. It's just that this conversation brought that up.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow, that's very good. The weirdest thing is, I never seen Eric in a dream, but I seen his sisters, so that's all I can say in a dreams or altered state, but never Eric, or at least not that I remember. And it's really hard to remember every single dream I had.
Travis, in human psychology, when somebody's asked a question and the answer is something along the lines of, I cannot confirm or deny,
I
there's always
said
there's something in there to explore
yes.
for sure.
There's something in there, but he's not going to confirm or deny. He's
Understand.
also I there was also the restrictions also there are certain things that could say, but in the terms of stuff, I am not ready to deliver that, and he's not ready to deliver it at the moment.
Of course,
So
we honor that.
it's in the way I can in the way the body pain I feel is mostly me is a restriction because I still have the holding on to certain negative beliefs that create that anxiety within me that I still have, and I'm working on letting go. So that strong sense will also come with the strong channeling will also come with some pain in my body, only to do. Sometimes it's comfort, but it's also depending on how I'm feeling at the moment.
Understand.
But I think he came through loud and clear, or at least most of the information was there.
Yes, for sure. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Very
And
wise answers,
as he said, only the message is important, and yes, he does come down to earth from time to time, but he's mostly behind the scenes, not physically. Although I can't really say that because he did leave it open, but I just know that he's working directly with other human groups.
Surely. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Are you going to stay with us for the second hour, Travis? I hope so.
Sure, I'll stay. I have
Okay,
nothing better to
beautiful.
do.
So I'm going to call a 8-minute break, and we'll be back around.